There are a lot of myths out there when it comes to LLCs. Certainly, forming and operating a business as an LLC can have a lot of benefits, but it is not the end-all, be-all when it comes to business ownership. I've made a lot of videos about the good things that an LLC can do for you and your business, but now I'm going to tell you about 4 things that an LLC won't do. Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado, and welcome back to All Up in Your Business. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check the description for links to additional information and resources, including a link to download my free new business checklist. All right, so we've heard a lot about what an LLC can do for you or your business. Let's talk about what it won't do. The first thing an LLC is not going to do for you is create some instant magic investment vehicle. I've seen this randomly in places online, on social media and stuff, where people parents want to invest money, save money on behalf of their kids, create some savings or some investment for their children, which is great. But then I see people say, I'm going to go form an LLC for my child, as if this is some kind of money-saving tool or investment vehicle that's just going to grow its value. Forming an LLC by itself holds no value. It's not going to do anything for you. Certainly, the business operation within the LLC can create value and can be an investment, but an LLC on its own isn't just this magical value creating, income generating thing. If you're not going to have some business function within it, an LLC really has no value at all. Or, oh, I have this excess money to put away, I'm going to go form an LLC with it, without any plan in mind as to what I'm going to do with the LLC after that. I'm just going to go form an LLC. What for? It's not going to do you any good unless you plan to actually, operate some kind of business, generate some income within it. The second thing an LLC won't do for you is save you on taxes. Again, I see this all the time. I'm going to form an LLC. I'm going to operate my business as an LLC so I can save on taxes. The IRS, for federal tax purposes, doesn't recognize an LLC. An LLC is a business entity that's recognized by states, but there is no tax status for an LLC. A single member LLC is considered a disregarded entity, and a single member LLC is taxed as a sole proprietorship. The way the IRS sees it, a sole proprietorship and a single member LLC are exactly the same. Same with multi-member LLCs. They disregard the LLC and it's taxed as a partnership. So a partnership and a multiple member LLC are taxed exactly the same. You don't magically get some tax reduction or other deductions or deductibles available to you solely by forming an LLC. Income taxes are exactly the same with or without an LLC. Now, the one little caveat to that, the one instance you might be able to get some tax savings by virtue of operating as an LLC is if you change your tax election to be taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp, depending on the circumstances and your specific situation. Making one of those tax elections might save you on taxes in the end. But again, there is no LLC tax status. So without making one of those tax elections to be taxed as a corporation, you're still going to be taxed as a sole proprietorship or a partnership, and therefore no change in taxes. The third thing an LLC won't do for you is give you any kind of trademark protection. Trademark rights are based on use of a trademark in commerce, whether it's your business name or a logo or a slogan. The rights in those trademarks come up by using them in commerce in connection with your business. Now notice I didn't say any of those rights come from forming an LLC or a corporation for that matter. Registering a business, whether it's registering a DBA or an LLC or a corporation, on its own does absolutely nothing to protect a trademark or your rights in the trademark. You could form an LLC with your business name, but it's only once you start actually doing business under that name that it becomes a trademark and you have any rights in it. The only real way to protect your trademark rights or protect a trademark is to, number one, use it as a trademark, and then better yet, register that trademark with the USPTO. That actually gives you some benefit and increased rights in your trademark. And lastly, the number 4 thing that an LLC is not going to do for you is avoid any and all liability of any kind. Of course, the main benefit that we get from operating as an LLC is separate liability for us as an individual and the business. That's the main purpose, is to insulate us, the business owner, from liabilities of the business. But that doesn't mean that the LLC is going to avoid any liabilities to the business, of course. And there is always the possibility of piercing the corporate veil, where you could still be personally liable for debts or liabilities of your business. But even outside of that, there are situations where we, as the business owner, can be responsible for some liability. I mean, number one, if we agree to it, often with a business loan or a credit card, or if we're signing a new lease, the lender or the landlord might still require a personal guarantee. So if the LLC goes under, if the LLC doesn't have any money, they still have a person that they can go after. So of course, if you're personally agreeing to be responsible for something, then the LLC isn't going to completely get you out of that. But then there are also instances where we can still be personally responsible if we act fraudulently, if we commit some kind of fraud, or if we are in ourselves negligent, even if we're acting on behalf of the business. I'll give a good example of that in my industry. So us attorneys, we have to have professional liability insurance coverage, malpractice insurance. This is a pretty common insurance that a lot of different professions want to have. If you're giving advice to somebody in a professional capacity, then typically we have some kind of malpractice insurance for that. So you might think, well, why would I need malpractice insurance? I'm operating as an LLC. If someone wants to sue me, they'll be suing my LLC. Well, no. Professionally, I'm still liable for the advice that I give. If I give a piece of advice to my client and that advice was bad and they were damaged from it, they can potentially sue me for malpractice. And that still is against me professionally and has little to do with my LLC. So that's just one instance of where you can still be personally or professionally responsible for something that you do on behalf of your company. This can also come up with negligence claims if, I don't know, if someone's injured at your office and it's because you individually acted negligently, you could potentially still be responsible for that damage. The point here is that an LLC isn't going to protect you from all avenues of liability or all responsibility completely when it comes to your business. It protects you from the debts and the obligations of the LLC, but that's not like an impenetrable force that no one can ever touch or get past. So of course, an LLC has a lot of benefits, the primary one being separation of liability in most instances for the debts and liabilities of the business. But it's not going to protect you from everything. It's not going to magically grow some valuable instrument or investment vehicle for you. In many cases, it's not going to save you much on taxes, if anything, and it's not going to do you any good when it comes to trademark protection. That's why if you're really interested in getting an LLC, before you jump the gun, it's a great idea to talk to an attorney to make sure this is the right move and that you're going to get the benefits from it that you think you're going to get. That's all for this episode, folks. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And again, don't forget to check the description for links to additional information and resources, including a link to download my free new business checklist. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.